Spring is finally here, and as such, I must update my skincare routine accordingly. But before we get into the routine itself, I just want to touch upon a few things, especially if you are new to my channel. In which case, hello, my name is Michelle. I'm 33 years old, and I like to talk about skincare. I'm getting more into lifestyle and wellness topics on my channel, especially when it comes to skin's health. So if that sounds like your thing, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content. Like I said in today's video, it is about my skincare routine. However, there is a different approach to this routine in comparison to previous years because since the end of last year, it has been confirmed by 3 skin experts, including a dermatologist, that my skin is primarily oily that can suffer from dehydration. Now, the reason I bring this up is because for the past almost decade of my YouTube channel, whenever I talk about anything skincare, I always said that my skin is severely dehydrated and dry. I was convinced that my skin type changed since my early 20s because that's how it felt. It felt so severely dehydrated. It was really painful and tight, and it felt like no matter what I applied on my skin, it felt like it was never enough. My skin would just drink it up and my skin would still be parched no matter the amount of layers of skincare I would apply. Whereas fast forward to now, my skin is actually fairly normalized. I rarely feel any dehydration in my skin unless I overuse a product or the environment is just really bone dry. And my skin, while it's back to its oily self, it's not as oily as it was when I was a teenager. Those are the changes that I've experienced as of late. So if you are new to my channel or you are subscribed to me and haven't heard this update, there you go. My skin is now primarily oily with a touch of dehydration on occasion. The second thing I want to touch upon before getting into the routine itself are my skin goals. Now, for the longest time, and it still pretty much stands till this day, my skin goals primarily focused around acne control, moisture balance, and barrier protection. And those are the pillars of my skincare. I would say they still stand to this day as of late because my acne is way more under control and barrier protection is pretty much a no-brainer. What I really want to emphasize in today's video is the moisture balance of our skin. I find as time goes on and, I just learn a bit more about skincare, my skin in general, that maintaining the moisture balance, and I'm talking about the water-oil balance naturally in our skin, is the key to healthy skin. By respecting my skin's moisture balance, I find certain problems that I worry about now that I'm in my early 30s and I'm still breaking out are no longer as severe because I respect that moisture. So I've noticed that there's a mitigation of dehydration, breakouts, fine lines, and as a result, my skin looks brighter, looks more plump, smoother, and of course, it's back to its oily self. It's no longer severely dehydrated or dry. So I curate my skincare routine in accordance with this moisture balance while catering to certain needs as they come, such as breakouts, because I do get the occasional cystic acne, but I'm not as reliant on anti-acne actives as I used to be. Congestion, because my oily skin has returned, I find that the products I used in the past no longer work that well for my skin. I find I'm way more prone to congestion. And thirdly, dehydration, if my skin becomes sensitized from the skincare products I've used or the environment. That's it for the explanation of my current skin type and my primary skincare goal. So now let's get into the morning skincare routine itself, starting off with the first step, which is cleansing. Now, typically what I will do is just cleanse my face with lukewarm to cool water. Oftentimes I like splashing my face with cooler water just because it feels good, it wakes me up. It's as simple as that. But there are days when I do reach for a salicylic acid cleanser, especially like I said, I'm becoming more oily. The weather's getting warmer, so I am producing more oil. As such, I need to tackle that congestion, prevent it accordingly. So I reached for a salicylic acid cleanser, the one that was sent to me back in January that I've been rotating in my morning skincare routine has been the Acne Zit Clean Purifying Cleansing Gel. This is a non-foaming cleanser that I like to use around 1 to 3 times a week, basically on the days when I go to the gym or I wake up and I feel like my skin feels particularly greasy that morning. That's when I will reach for this cleanser. I don't want to use it every morning because I do notice that if I do, my skin feels a little bit parched. So I only use this cleanser on an as-need basis. Salicylic acid not only exfoliates the surface of our skin, but it actually is oil soluble. So it gets into the pore and actually exfoliates the pore lining, which makes it ideal for those with acne-prone skin. It also has soothing capabilities. So another bonus for those of us with more inflamed acne-prone skin. However, I'll just deter a little bit from the routine to say that I personally don't think BHA, salicylic acid in particular, does enough for those of us with cystic acne, like the breakouts I get on my chin. For that, you need a more heavy-duty anti-acne active, such as benzoyl peroxide. A beta hydroxy acid, such as salicylic acid, I find is best for the non-inflamed acne, such as blackheads, whiteheads, excess sebaceous filaments, stuff like that, which is how I use it in my skincare routine. How I use this cleanser is that I take a small amount and focus it on the main areas of congestion on my face. So my nose, around the area of my nose, my upper lip, my lower lip and chin, sometimes my forehead if I'm noticing congestion, but it's mainly the center of my face that I'll focus salicylic acid. And once I felt like I massaged the cleanser in sufficiently enough, I'll do a light pass over the rest of my face just to get a general cleanse, and then I will rinse it off. I cleanse my face with a salicylic acid cleanser no more than 1 to 2 minutes, just to give the active some time to actually do something on my skin. It doesn't bother my skin at all. It's a very gentle cleanser, and it's one of the primary ways I like to use salicylic acid in my skincare routine. After cleansing and lightly patting my face dry with a towel, I will move on to the one item I probably use the most consistent in my skincare routine twice a day, morning and night, and that is a hydrating mist. The one that I'm currently using still is Jordan Samuel Skin Hydrate the Mist. I started using this since I got it at the end of November, beginning of December, and it's been in my skincare routine ever since. I am almost done, but I'm going to be finishing it up before I open something new. The reason I like using a hydrating mist or a lightweight hydrating toner in general in my skincare routine is because for me, having oily skin but wanting to prevent dehydration, respecting my skin's moisture balance, I like how this just makes my skin look. I notice my skin's always a little bit plumper, a bit brighter, a bit smoother. Product that I follow up with sinks into my skin a lot better. So when it comes to hydrating mists or toners, what I look for is for it to not only have hydrating, moisturizing ingredients that are good for oily skin types, but I would prefer if there was some type of soothing, calming capability, just a no-nonsense, barrier respecting type of mist or toner, and that's exactly what the Jordan Samuel Hydrate the Mist is. I spray this all over my face and neck, usually 4 spritzes will suffice, and then I lightly pat it into my skin. After the hydrating mist or toner, the next step to follow, it really depends how my skin feels, especially after using the salicylic acid cleanser. Today, for example, I used it to film myself using it for this video, and as such, my face feels a little bit parched. So I did go in with a hydrating barrier protecting serum on top just to add another layer of a lightweight moisturizing product. The one I used is the Dr. G Red Blemish Clear Soothing Active Essence. I've been using it on and off since last year in my skincare routine, now so more consistently to finish it up. The more I use the serum, the more I like it because it's such a lovely, lightweight, hydrating serum. I think this is like one of the best serums for those of us with oily skin, especially if you are very oily, living in a humid climate. You want to use a barrier serum, but you find everything is heavy and sticky. This one is extremely lightweight and does the job. This not only lightly hydrates the skin and not promotes any congestion whatsoever, it also strengthens the skin's barrier. It does contain niacinamide and ceramides in it. It also has supporting anti-acne ingredients such as Hotunia cordata, which is a traditional Korean medicinal herb that was used to help those of us with acne-prone skin. So it does have that, otherwise known as heart leaf extract. And of course, it's from the Red Blemish Soothing line. So there is the 5-Cica complex in this. So Centella asiatica and its constituents, which are also hydrating, soothing, antioxidant, wound healing, just a ton of good stuff in this serum. I use the serum right away after patting the hydrating mist into my skin. So I will apply about 2 pumps all over my face and neck. Again, pat it into my skin until there is some light tack, but it's barely tacky. It sinks into the skin very quickly, but you still feel a very light moisturizing finish. The next step of my morning spring skincare routine is actually the last step, and it is very dependent on the weather and what I am doing that day. So as you can see here, I have moisturizer and various sunscreens. I don't reach for the moisturizer all the time. Now that my skin is a little bit oilier, I find adding a moisturizer and sunscreen is a little bit too much for my skin, and I notice congestion, which defeats the purpose of preventing it in the first place. So like I said, it depends on what I am doing that day. If it's gloomy outside, which it's not going to be gloomy for much longer, the sun's definitely shining a lot more, but today happens to be a gloomier day, I'm staying at home, in which case I will just reach for my moisturizer, which is the CeraVe Facial Moisturizing Lotion PM. This has the ceramides, the niacinamide in it. There's no oils in here, which is why I like it. So on gloomy, low UV index days like today where I'm staying inside, I will reach for this. However, if I'm actually going to be productive outside, that's when I will reach for one of my 3 sunscreens. This is my sunscreen wardrobe, so to speak. I have the 2 sunscreens I mentioned in my 2023 favorites, the Avène Intense Protect and the La Roche-Posay UV Immune 400 Hydrating Cream. Both are SPF 50 plus. On the days where I'm actually going to be outside for a very long time and it is very sunny, where I'm like oiling up for sure, I will reach for one of these sunscreens because of the high UVA protection and they are water resistant. On the other days where I am going outside, but not a whole lot, the sun is out, it's not as strong, or it is overcast, that's when I will reach for this sunscreen here, which has replaced the Beauty of Joseon one, which I emptied out. It is the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Hydrating Water Fit Sun Serum SPF 50 plus PA4 plus. This was also available at my local drugstore, so I thought I would try this out next after the Beauty of Joseon one. In short, for the final step of my morning skincare routine, one of 4 skincare products will be used. The only times I will not use a sunscreen is on the days like today where it's very overcast, UV index is low, I'm not going outside, I'm just staying at home. I'll just reach for a moisturizer and not waste my sunscreen. On the days I am outside, how long I am outside for, how intense the sun is, or if it's overcast, I will reach for one of the 3 sunscreens. The Skin 1004 one is the latest addition to my skincare routine and sunscreen wardrobe, so I decided to demonstrate applying this one for my morning skincare routine. I take about 5 pumps worth, which is equivalent to my finger joint, and I use that amount to apply all over my face and neck. I find this settles into the skin very quickly, and it's actually lighter than the Beauty of Joseon one. I don't find it as moisturizing. For those of you that found the Beauty of Joseon one to be a little bit heavier, more suitable for the wintertime, definitely take a look at the Skin 10041. I believe it has very similar filters. It's probably from the same manufacturer. I'll definitely update you on that in the future when I decide to review this sunscreen. Otherwise, like I said, I find it way more lightweight than the Beauty of Joseon one. I also notice when I apply this, there's not as much of an obvious cast to it from the Tina Sorb M. It actually just blends into my skin tone very quickly. There's no kind of brightness that comes from it. That is it for my spring morning skincare routine. Very easy, very quick. I get it done in less than 5 minutes. And most importantly, it respects my skin's moisture balance. To summarize, I clean my face mostly with just lukewarm water or cool water 1 to 3 times a week. Use a salicylic acid cleanser if I have gone to the gym or feel particularly oily that morning. Always, always, always go in with a hydrating mist or toner because it's lightweight and it will not congest my skin when it adds moisture. Depending if my skin feels parched or not from the salicylic acid cleanser, I will go in with an additional moisturizing layer with a hydrating barrier serum. And lastly, I will end off my skincare routine with either a moisturizer or sunscreen, not both, because the moisturizer and sunscreen on top will actually congest my skin. So if I am staying inside, it is gloomy, I will go for the moisturizer. However, if I'm staying at home and it's very sunny, that's when I will reach for a sunscreen, and I will most definitely apply a sunscreen if I'm going to be out and about for the day. As always, I hope you find content like this helpful and informative. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel down below for future videos, including my PM spring skincare routine. It will be coming up shortly after this one. Let me know in the comments down below if you are also in the midst of changing up your skincare routine in respect with the seasonal changes and what you are doing. I would love to read about it. That is it for this video. See you all soon. Ciao.